Hi everyone, welcome back to AG Twins. I have been on the hunt for a Kirsten doll for my collection for months now. If you've seen some of the past videos on my channel, you might know that I bought a lot of American Girl stuff locally, and there was most of Kirsten's collection included in that lot. And it did have this Kirsten doll in that lot, but she was an older Pleasant Company doll and just wasn't in as good of condition as I would have liked. She had a silver eye and almost no face paint left, which is not something that I can fix. And her hair was just kind of matted and messy, even though it was in the original braids. And additionally, the PC dolls were just before my time, so I'm not used to their features like the soft vinyl, and I just prefer the feeling of the newer Mattel dolls. So I ended up putting that doll back up on Facebook Marketplace and selling her. And I did end up selling enough from that lot to make enough money back to buy a brand new Kirsten from the re-release this year. So I bought Kirsten from American Girl during one of the three times the point sales, so I could at least get some reward points. So that's what I'm opening up here. She came with her book in the classic PC style, and she also came with all of her accessories. Here's her necklace, which is something that I didn't have from the lot. I had some of her accessories, but I didn't have the necklace, and I didn't have this spoon either, so those pieces are good to have. And here's her bag as well. The ends of the threads, I guess, here, the fringe, are kind of messy. I'm trying to straighten it out with my fingers a little bit. And then it also came with her napkin. And then her bonnet was in a separate bag taped into the box here. And then now it's time to cut Kirsten out of her box. So here she is. Once that neck strap is off, she is out of the box. She doesn't get a hairnet because her hair is already up in this style. And this doll did have some things wrong with her, in my opinion. She had like these little shark fin kind of like stick out pieces from her hairstyle. Did you guys call it that when you have a ponytail and like someone pulls on your hair to give you like a little fin on your head? We called them shark fins. So it looks like she has that. From how they styled her hair, it looks like they cut the end of her hair bluntly and then like shoved it up inside the top of the braid there, which is different than how it was on my Pleasant Company doll that I had. They kind of folded over the end and then just flipped the braid in half and tied it that way. I kind of prefer this way so it doesn't cause that bulge in her hair. And then the more major issue that I noticed with this doll is she had a bald spot in the back of her head where you could see through to her wig. No matter how I tried arranging her baby hairs, I couldn't cover it up. And then all of her baby hairs in the back, I just thought were kind of cut strangely. It seemed to me like they were just really choppy. She had like this fringe in the back, just like this layer that just went straight down really short. I know Kirsten's meant to have these short hairs to cover up the part in the back of her head, but the other Pleasant Company doll I had, it wasn't so choppy. It kind of like the hairs went toward the side into the braids a little bit rather than being just like bangs in the back of her head. And also I thought she had less hair than the Pleasant Company version too. Look how much fewer twists she has in her braid. So that bald spot ended up being kind of an unforgivable defect in my opinion for $160. I just wasn't happy with what I received, so I ended up returning that doll, unfortunately. So that all happened over the summer in about July, August. So I've kind of been deciding what to do about it since then, because I'm not sure if I want to buy another one from American Girl and risk her having that defect again. So I just kind of put it on the back burner and was just not really worried about it yet. I figured I would get Kirsten eventually, but it didn't have to be right now. And I was kind of hoping I might find one from this box style era of the original release of Kirsten, but American Girl, not Pleasant Company. So my options for that are eBay or like new in box on Facebook Marketplace or something, because I did want her original braids in, which are both expensive options. And I did find one on Facebook Marketplace for $150, but at that price I wasn't super eager to jump on it or anything. so I was kind of content to wait a while. However, this weekend I came across a Facebook Marketplace listing for a Kirsten doll for $50, and she is the 35th anniversary line, so I think that was in 2021, and the person who was selling her just had her sitting in a box for the years since then. Never took her out of the box, never opened her, and just decided to sell her on Facebook Marketplace. So for $50, that's less than a third of the price that I paid for the one from American Girl. So I jumped on that deal and messaged her and drove an hour to go and pick her up. For that price, to me, it was worth the drive and worth the risk that she might have a defect or something. Just because it was such a good deal, I was willing to take that risk. So she comes with pretty much the same things as the current re-release doll. She comes with all her accessories, and then just with this extra pamphlet that goes through the 35th anniversary line of dolls. She still comes with her bonnet taped into the box the same way. So then all that's left to do is take the doll out of the box. I think she's fastened in the same way that the current edition of Kirsten dolls are. And I think the doll is the exact same as the current re-release. I could be wrong though. I believe the 35th anniversary dolls might have neck strings and the current ones have zip ties. I'm not sure if this one has like the star imprint on her foot too, but those would be the only differences that I can think of. So here she is out of the box. Her bangs are a little bit messy, I think just from like the gravity of being stored laying down for a long time. And this girl has some serious box hair. Her head is so flat. It's kind of funny. She's like one of those babies who needs the helmet to make her head round again. But hopefully just having her stood up for a while will do the trick. Her hair does seem to be styled in the same way as the current re-release of Kirsten was, with the blunt ends kind of like shoved up into the top of her hair, so it does kind of create the same like bulge again. But I'm much happier with this doll than I was with the other one. I think her baby hairs in the back are blended a lot better, they're much less choppy, and I think it looks a lot more normal looking. And then I'm just taking some water and a toothbrush to try and smooth out her bangs a little bit. There's this one piece I'm fighting with that just feels like it's sticking out a little bit longer than the rest of her bangs, so I'm trying to like brush it down and push it up and just mess with it to see if I can get it to lay right here. So then I'm just taking some more of my spray bottle of water and a toothbrush just to try and smooth down her hair a little bit to see if I can get some shape back again to the back of her head so it's not so flat, and also to see if I can get that part that's sticking out from the way her hair was styled to lay a little nicer. It didn't really work. I think it's just going to have to be a waiting game to wait for like gravity to do its work as she's standing up and not laying down anymore. But I am much happier with the amount of hair that's in the back of her head. Definitely no bald spot. And now time to go back and open up those accessories I took out of the box. So first up is her bonnet. I'll try to give a few thoughts on comparing and contrasting to the Pleasant Company version that I had before I sold it, but I don't have it right next to me to compare here, so I'm just kind of going off of my memory. But the old one that I had, the elastic in the back was shot, so this one definitely feels much nicer with some fresh elastic. The brim here does kind of feel thicker, I think, than the Pleasant Company version I had, but it could have just been that it was more old and worn. But it is a little bit stiffer on the brim, so it sticks straight out instead of like flopping down over her face, which I do really like. And then next I'm just opening this other pack of the rest of accessories that came with Kirsten. First up is her wooden spoon. This is a piece that I didn't have before, so I'm glad to have the whole set now. And then next is her necklace, which is the other piece of her accessories that I was missing from the first time that I got Kirsten. My goodness, it's hard keeping all these Kirstens straight now. I hope it's not super confusing in the video. But I'm really glad to have this necklace too. As I mentioned before, I like it when dolls have like a little necklace that's theirs. So I'll have to put that on Kirsten in a minute here. Then next is her little pocket that you tie on over her apron. This, I think, feels just as nice as the Pleasant Company version. However, the threads are kind of messy. I did take my toothbrush and a little bit of water to kind of smooth them back down, and that did seem to help a little bit. And then last is her napkin. Her napkin and her pocket, honestly, the white parts, I think is even nicer than the Pleasant Company one I had. I distinctly remember her napkin being like so thin it was see-through, and this one is not like that. So I'm really happy with the quality of these accessories. It's now time to put them on Kirsten. The necklace has just like a hook that you loop through the clasp instead of actually having to work one of like the teeny tiny clasps, which is really nice, makes it super easy to put on. And her pocket just ties on over her apron. I ended up not being able to put her bonnet on with the way her braids are right now. I didn't force it too hard. I was kind of scared to ruin her braids now that she's like brand new, fresh out of the box. That would have been such a bummer. So I didn't try that hard. I ended up just tying it around her neck and letting it like flop back. So like, I don't know, just imagining that she had it on, but like slid it off and she can just take it up and like slide it back on when she wants to. So that's what I settled on. So here is my keeper Kirsten with her necklace and her bonnet tied around her neck there. This one I don't think has a lot of face paint either, so maybe that's just a feature of Kirsten. But you see I was able to smooth out those little tassels on her pocket a little bit, on her pouch. Her apron, I think, feels a little bit thinner than the version I had with the Pleasant Company Kirsten, but it does still have the working pocket. I suppose I could put the spoon in there too, so I think I will. Make use of all her pockets. And then I think her underwear is a little bit different on the trim too, but super minor details. Here's her bonnet from the back. And then here's me looking at her bangs again to try and fix them. I still feel like they're a little bit uneven, but like I'm not going to cut the hair of a brand new doll. So I think I'm just going to try and mess with it a little bit more. But it's just this one little spot above her right eye that just is like sticking out lower than the rest of her hair. I don't know. I'm trying to like swipe it to the side to get it to like not stick out quite so far. But I still think it is like a little too long. I don't know. I'll work on it. We'll see. It's super minor. I'm not mad about it. For the deal that I got, I'm super surprised and happy that I was able to find brand new Kirsten for such a good price. I'm over the moon to have this lady in my collection. Here she is with my other dolls.